Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight, we'll be exploring one of the most influential forces that shapes your daily life. It can affect your energy, your friendships, your work, and even the way your mind restores itself. Introverts and extroverts are often described as opposites, yet the truth is far more fascinating. This is not a story about who is shy and who is bold. It is a story about how different nervous systems meet the same world and respond in beautifully different ways. Why does one person leave a party feeling alive, while another leaves feeling thoughtful and spent? Why does silence nourish some minds, while conversation lights up others? And how can the same person hold both tendencies depending on the moment? If you enjoy these gentle journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, there is nothing you need to do but relax. Allow your body to soften and let the day loosen its grip. Allow your breathing to slow and notice your mind begin to gently unwind as we explore this inner world together. Let's begin. Introverts can feel drained by crowds, even when they enjoy them. Picture a wedding where you laugh, dance, and feel genuinely happy. Then, later that night, your body asks for stillness, as if it has run a marathon. For many people, the tiring part is not the people. It is the constant stream of voices, faces, eye contact, and fast decisions about when to speak. Your mind is tracking 100 tiny signals, and that steady tracking costs fuel. You might notice it as a headache, a heavy chest, or a sudden craving to disappear into a quiet room. The twist is that the event can still feel meaningful. Enjoyment and exhaustion can coexist. When someone says they need to go home early, it can be an act of self-care rather than rejection. Recovery is often quick once the stimulation stops. Extroverts often recharge through conversation, not quiet. Some people feel their thoughts sharpen the moment another person is present. A simple chat at the kitchen counter can act like turning on a lamp. They may start the day a little flat, then become brighter after a few exchanges, even if the topic is ordinary. It is not attention-seeking in a cartoon sense. It can be regulation. Talking creates rhythm, feedback, and emotional calibration. A nod, a laugh, a raised eyebrow. These small signals can help the brain settle into a comfortable tempo. After a long stretch alone, an extrovert might feel foggy, unmotivated, or oddly tense. Then one call with a friend can pull them back into focus. This is why some people choose shared hobbies over solo ones. The activity matters, yet the living current between people matters more. Both traits sit on a spectrum, not in two separate boxes. If personality came in only two flavors, social life would be easy to predict. Instead, most people land somewhere between the extremes, and that middle ground has many shapes. You might love public speaking, yet need solitude afterward. You might enjoy alone time, yet feel happiest when there is a plan with others later. The spectrum idea explains why labels can fit on one day and slip off on another. It also explains why people argue about what they are, because their answer depends on the context they imagine. A crowded nightclub is one world. A small dinner with close friends is another. The spectrum also leaves room for growth without pretending you must switch teams. You can learn skills that make social life smoother while still honoring the way your energy actually behaves. An extrovert can crave solitude and still be truly extroverted. It is easy to assume that extroverts want company every moment, yet many of them protect alone time fiercely. Solitude can be where they reset their emotions, reflect on a busy day, or recover from being on for too long. The key difference is what happens next. After that pause, they often feel pulled back toward the world. They may miss the sparkle of shared moments, and they may seek the hum of other people's presence. Some extroverts take solo walks, keep private journals, or disappear into a hobby for an hour, and they come back more socially alive. Solitude is not an identity test. It is a tool. When you understand this, you stop treating extroversion like a non-stop performance. You start seeing it as a preference for connection, as a primary source of renewal, with rest as part of the cycle. An introvert can love people deeply and still need distance. Needing space can look like disinterest from the outside, yet it can sit right beside strong attachment. Many introverts care intensely, and they show it through attention, loyalty, and remembering details that others miss. The challenge is that closeness can feel like a constant open channel. Messages arrive, plans shift, emotions ripple, and the channel never fully closes. Distance becomes a way to keep the relationship healthy rather than a way to avoid it. This is why an introvert might prefer one long talk over many small check-ins. It is why they may cancel after a demanding week, then return with warmth and presence. When you do not confuse space with rejection, you start to read the pattern more accurately. The bond can be strong, and the need for room can be real, and both can exist without contradiction. Some brains react more strongly to stimulation, shaping social comfort. Walk into a loud room and notice how quickly your body responds. For some people, the volume, movement, and unpredictability feel thrilling. For others, the same input can feel like too much information arriving at once. This sensitivity is not a moral trait. It is closer to a dial that sets how strongly the brain registers incoming signals. When the dial is higher, a busy environment can push you toward overload faster. You may become alert, tense, or mentally scattered. When the dial is lower, you might seek extra input to feel engaged. This helps explain why certain settings feel effortless for one person and draining for another. It also explains why small changes matter. Softer lighting, fewer overlapping conversations, and a clear role in the group can transform the experience. Comfort is often about matching the environment to the brain's settings. Quiet people often think before speaking, not because they lack ideas. Some minds treat speech like a final draft. Before a word comes out, there is an internal pass for accuracy, tone, and timing. That pause can look like hesitation, yet it can be a sign of careful construction. In group conversations, the topic may move on before the quiet person decides the sentence is ready, so their contribution disappears. They can leave thinking, "I had something good," while others assume they had nothing. This is one reason written spaces can reveal a very different voice. Emails, notes, and messages remove the race. The idea gets to arrive fully formed. It also explains why some quiet people shine in one-to-one settings. The pace slows, and they can place their thoughts without fighting for air. When you make room for that rhythm, you often hear insights that were there all along. Social confidence and extroversion are different traits that can diverge. You can meet someone who loves being around people, yet feels nervous in a crowd. You can also meet someone who seems fearless, yet prefers solitude once the task is done. Confidence is about comfort with risk, judgment, and performance. Extroversion is about where energy tends to refill. They sometimes travel together, yet they do not have to. A confident introvert might lead meetings, host a dinner, and give a stunning presentation, then feel happiest when the house is quiet again. A shy extrovert might crave connection, but struggle with initiating it, so they feel lonely in public spaces. Seeing the difference changes how you help. One person needs practice, and support to reduce anxiety. Another needs permission to rest without being mislabeled. When you stop merging these traits, people start making sense in a way that feels kinder and more accurate. Your environment can pull you outward or inward without changing you. Think of personality as a pattern, then imagine it interacting with a place. A warm group that welcomes pauses can draw an introvert into conversation. A chaotic group that rewards speed can push them into silence. The same is true in reverse. A collaborative team can light up an extrovert. A lonely schedule can flatten their mood. Environment includes culture too. Some workplaces praise being outspoken. Some families value restraint. When the environment matches your style, you appear effortless. When it clashes, you may look like a different person, and people may misread that shift as your true self. This is why labels can feel confusing across life stages. School, first jobs, parenthood, and aging all change the social landscape. You are not always changing at the core. Sometimes the world around you is changing the pull on the pattern. The same person can act opposite ways, depending on the situation. You might be lively with close friends, then reserved at a networking event. You might be talkative at work, then silent at home. This does not mean you are fake. It means your brain is responding to safety, familiarity, stakes, and role. When you know the rules of the setting, you spend less energy guessing what is expected. When the stakes are high, your body may choose caution. When you feel seen, your voice may open. This is why people often have a work self and a weekend self. It is also why someone can seem extroverted in one context and introverted in another. Situations can change the cost of speaking and the reward of connecting. Once you see that, personality becomes less like a fixed label and more like a map of tendencies. The map stays, yet the terrain changes how you travel. Introverts often prefer fewer friendships with more depth and trust. Some people would rather know 3 people well than know 30 people lightly. That preference can look like selectiveness, yet it often comes from how intimacy is built. Depth takes time, attention, and repeated proof that a bond is safe. An introvert may spend months watching how someone handles secrets, conflict, and kindness. Then, once trust clicks into place, the loyalty can feel almost unshakable. These friendships often carry long conversations, shared rituals, and the comfort of silence that does not need filling. It can also mean fewer but more deliberate plans. Instead of saying yes to every group invite, they may choose one coffee where the talk can go past headlines and into real thoughts. When a deep friendship forms, it can feel like having a home base in the social world. Extroverts often keep wider networks, thriving on many small connections. For some people, friendship is not a narrow doorway. It is a wide plaza with many paths leading in. A quick chat with a neighbor, a friendly message to an old colleague, a laugh with the barista. These tiny threads can feel nourishing rather than shallow. Each one offers a spark of recognition and a sense of belonging in the wider human story. Extroverts often remember names, link people to opportunities, and keep social bridges from collapsing. A wide network can also act like a safety net. If one friend is busy, another is free. If one group feels heavy, another group feels light. This does not mean the connections are fake. It means connection itself is a comfort. Many extroverts also have a smaller inner circle. They simply enjoy having many friendly doors they can knock on. Introverts may listen longer, then speak with sharper precision. In a fast conversation, the introvert can seem like they are disappearing. In reality, they may be collecting clues: tone, timing, word choice, and what is not being said. By the time they speak, they have often shaped a sentence that lands cleanly. This can feel almost surprising, like a summary that makes everyone pause. Listening also gives them time to test their own reaction. Is it true? Is it fair? Is it useful? Their precision can show up as the perfect question that changes the direction of a discussion. It can also show up as the careful phrase that calms a tense moment. If you have ever watched someone stay silent for 10 minutes, then say one line that clarifies everything, you have seen this strength. It is not slowness. It is craft. Extroverts may think out loud, using speech to shape ideas. Some minds discover what they believe only after hearing themselves say it. Talking becomes a workshop. A half-formed thought comes out. Then it gets refined in real time through reaction and reply. An extrovert might start with a messy sentence, then suddenly find the clean version while speaking. It can look like rambling if you expect every statement to be polished, yet it is often how they build clarity. The listener is not just an audience. The listener is part of the thinking system. This is why extroverts can be brilliant brainstormers. They turn a room into a tool. A colleague's question, a friend's laugh, a small disagreement. Each one pushes the idea into a sharper shape. After the conversation, they may finally feel finished. Silence did not do the job. Interaction did. Introverts can process social detail intensely, which takes energy. Imagine walking through a room and noticing the micro shifts. One person's smile tightens. Another person's voice changes by a small degree. Two people stop talking when someone enters. For some introverts, social life can feel like high-resolution perception. The brain keeps scanning for meaning, safety, and harmony. That can be a gift, since it makes them sensitive friends. It can also be tiring, since the scanning does not always switch off. Even when they are enjoying themselves, their mind can be working in the background. Afterward, they may replay moments and wonder what they missed. This is why they often prefer settings with fewer variables. A smaller group, a familiar space, a predictable plan. When the social world becomes simpler, the mind can stop monitoring and start relaxing. Extroverts can miss subtle cues when speed and warmth take over. When you are moving fast, you catch the big signals, and you might miss the soft ones. Extroverts often lead with enthusiasm, which can create instant comfort in a room. That same forward motion can sometimes glide past small hesitations in others. A person pauses before answering. Their eyes flick away for a moment. The smile is polite rather than easy. None of that is obvious when the energy is high. This is not a character flaw. It is a trade. You gain momentum and friendliness, and you risk missing quiet boundaries. The beautiful part is that awareness can be learned. Extroverts who practice slowing down often become incredibly skilled at reading a room. They keep their warmth and they add precision. A simple check-in, like asking if someone wants a break, can turn charisma into care. Many introverts hate interruptions because concentration feels fragile. For some people, focus is not a switch. It is a slow descent into depth. They start at the surface, then they sink into a mental space where ideas connect. An interruption can pull them up too fast, and it can take a long time to return. That is why an unexpected question can feel like someone yanking a book out of your hands mid-sentence. It is not only about annoyance. It is about losing a delicate thread. Many introverts do their best work when they can stay with a thought until it is complete. They may protect that space with closed doors, headphones, or very clear boundaries about when they are available. When others respect that, the results can be striking. You often get better writing, better plans, and fewer mistakes. Attention is a limited resource. For them, interruptions spend it quickly. Many extroverts hate silence because momentum feels comforting. Silence can feel like a cliff edge for someone who runs on social rhythm. In a conversation, pauses can be interpreted as disapproval, boredom, or distance, even when none of that is true. Many extroverts fill the gap quickly, not because they cannot think, but because they want to keep connection alive. Momentum feels like proof that the bond is still there. This can show up in meetings, dates, and family dinners. If a room goes still, they might crack a joke, change the topic, or ask a question. The goal is not noise. The goal is continuity. When extroverts learn that silence can also mean comfort, their world expands. A pause can become a shared breath instead of a threat. It helps to name it. Saying, "I am thinking," can keep the connection steady while the room is quiet. Introverts may dread small talk, yet love meaningful questions. Small talk can feel like walking in circles. Weather, traffic, and surface updates can seem pointless if you crave real information about a person. Many introverts would rather skip to the part where someone reveals what they care about. A question like, "What has been on your mind lately?" can open the door in a way that "How are you?" rarely does. This is not snobbery. It is efficiency of meaning. Small talk also moves fast, and it can require constant quick replies. That pace can feel like juggling. Meaningful questions slow the rhythm and allow longer answers. They also create a sense of purpose, which makes social effort feel worthwhile. If you are hosting an introvert, you can watch the transformation happen. Offer a thoughtful prompt, and their voice often becomes warmer and more animated. Depth is not only content. It is a kind of relief. Extroverts may love small talk because it opens doors fast. Small talk is often dismissed as empty, yet it can be a powerful social tool. For many extroverts, it is how you test the water before you swim. A simple comment about the room, a shared laugh about the day, a quick exchange about food. These are low-risk signals that say, "I am friendly," and "I am not a threat." Once that bridge is built, deeper conversation can follow naturally. Small talk also helps extroverts gather options. They learn who is open to talking, who prefers space, and who shares an interest. It is like social radar. It can also be generous. In a group, small talk gives everyone an easy way in. Not everyone is ready to discuss fears, dreams, or philosophy in the first minute. A light opening can be a gift. For an extrovert, it is not filler. It is entry. Introverts often prefer writing because it allows complete expression. When you write, you can build a thought like a house. You choose the foundation, check the corners, then decide what to reveal first. Many introverts love that control. Writing removes the pressure to respond instantly, and it lets them say what they truly mean. They can notice their own emotion, adjust their tone, and find a clearer word. In conversation, the thought may arrive late, and the moment may pass. On the page, the moment waits. This is why some introverts seem quiet in a group, but brilliant in messages, essays, or notes. Their mind is not empty. It is careful. Writing also creates safety. You can be honest without being interrupted. You can share something personal without watching someone's face change in real time. The result can be intimacy that feels smoother and more exact. For many introverts, writing is not avoidance. It is accuracy. Extroverts often prefer speaking because it creates instant feedback. Speech gives you real-time signals that writing cannot offer. A smile that says, "I get you." A pause that says, "Tell me more." A laugh that turns a tense moment into something lighter. For extroverts, those signals can feel like oxygen. They guide the flow and make connection feel alive. Speaking also carries warmth through tone, rhythm, and timing. Even a simple sentence can feel supportive when it is spoken kindly. This is why extroverts often choose phone calls over long message threads. They want the person, not only the words. In conversation, they can adjust quickly if something lands wrong. They can clarify, soften, or brighten on the spot. That agility makes relationships feel easier. For many extroverts, speech is not just communication. It is closeness you can hear. Introverts can be slow to warm up, then surprisingly playful. At the start of an event, an introvert may look reserved. They might stand back, watch the group, and speak less than others. This can be mistaken for boredom. Often, it is calibration. They are learning the tone of the room and deciding what kind of humor fits. Once they feel safe, a switch can flip. Suddenly they are telling stories, making sharp jokes, and laughing with full presence. People sometimes say, "I did not know you were so funny." The funny part was there. It was just waiting for the right conditions. Warm-up time can protect them from social mishaps. It reduces the chance of saying something careless in the wrong setting. It also makes their playfulness feel more personal. When an introvert gets silly with you, it often means you have earned a place inside their comfort zone. Extroverts can be instantly friendly, then quietly withdraw later. An extrovert can walk into a room and make it feel warmer in minutes. They greet people, ask questions, and create a sense of ease. That outward brightness can make others assume they are always socially full. Yet extroverts can still hit a limit. After hours of connecting, their energy can dip, and they may suddenly want to go home without explanation. Sometimes the crash comes the next day. They might ignore messages and spend time alone, which confuses people who only saw their social spark. This pattern can be healthy. The friendly burst is real, and the need to retreat is real too. Withdrawal does not mean the connection was fake. It means they spent a lot of fuel. Extroverts often give energy freely. Later, they may need privacy to refill, sort their feelings, and return as themselves. Some introverts socialize best in predictable, structured settings. When you know what will happen, your brain does not have to keep guessing. That can make social life feel far less exhausting for an introvert. A book club has a topic. A board game has rules. A weekly walk has a familiar rhythm. Structure provides a shared script, and the script reduces pressure. It also gives natural turns. You do not have to fight for airtime, and you do not have to invent conversation from nothing. Predictability can also create safety for deeper sharing. When the frame is stable, the mind can relax enough to be more open. This is why many introverts prefer planned meetups over noisy parties. It is not that they dislike people, they dislike chaos. In a structured setting, you often see them become more expressive, more relaxed, and more fully present. Some extroverts socialize best in spontaneous, high-energy settings. For many extroverts, surprise is not a threat. It is a spark. An unplanned dinner, a last-minute invitation, a room full of new faces. These settings offer novelty, and novelty can feel like a power source. High-energy spaces also create easy momentum. Music, movement, and quick conversation cues can carry you along, even if you do not know everyone. Spontaneity removes overthinking. There is no long runway for worry to grow. You show up and respond to what is happening. Many extroverts also enjoy the role of social catalyst. They introduce people, suggest plans, and turn a dull moment into a lively one. In these environments, their strengths become obvious. They read excitement fast, they match the room's tempo, and they help others loosen up. For them, a spontaneous setting is not messy. It is alive. Introverts may need recovery time after even successful social events. A great night can still require a quiet morning. That can sound strange until you remember that effort and enjoyment are different measurements. An introvert might have loved the conversation, felt connected, and left with a full heart. Then the next day, they feel slow, sensitive, or oddly blank. Recovery time lets the nervous system settle. It can include simple routines that restore steadiness, like cooking, tidying, reading, or walking. It can also include doing nothing at all. Many introverts learn to schedule recovery on purpose. They avoid stacking events back to back, and they protect their calendar like it is a battery meter. When friends understand this, relationships become easier. The introvert is not disappearing. They are restoring their ability to be present again. If you give them that space, you often get their best self back sooner, with more warmth and attention. Extroverts may feel restless after too much time alone. Too much solitude can feel like being underfed, even if life is otherwise comfortable. An extrovert might start pacing, scrolling, or starting projects that do not stick. Their body is seeking stimulation, and their mind is seeking shared emotion. Loneliness is part of it, yet restlessness can happen even without sadness. It can be a kind of social hunger. Many extroverts regulate their mood through interaction. A short conversation can lift them, while a day alone can feel oddly heavy. This is why some extroverts talk to strangers so easily. The interaction itself steadies them. It is also why they often thrive in environments with background presence, like cafes or co-working spaces. The sounds of life can help. When extroverts learn this about themselves, they can design healthier routines. They build regular connection into the week, so their energy does not swing as wildly. Introverts often choose hobbies that deepen focus, not status. Many introvert-friendly hobbies have one thing in common. They reward immersion. Gardening, painting, woodworking, coding, knitting, birdwatching, and long-distance running. These activities offer a private relationship with progress. You can get better quietly, and the payoff is real. Focus also becomes a refuge from social noise. When you are absorbed in a craft, your mind stops scanning for cues and starts following a single thread. The satisfaction is not only the result, it is the state you enter while doing it. Status can matter to anyone, yet many introverts find status less motivating than mastery. They would rather feel competent than be seen. These hobbies also build identity in a steady way. You are not performing yourself. You are making something, learning something, or noticing something. Later, if you share it, it can create connection that feels natural. The hobby becomes a bridge that does not require small talk. Extroverts often choose hobbies that multiply interaction, not mastery. Some hobbies are built like social engines. Team sports, dance classes, improv, community theatre, group fitness, volunteering, and club nights. Even when skill matters, the strongest reward can be the shared experience. Extroverts often love activities where you move in sync with others. You trade jokes, celebrate wins, and feel part of something bigger than yourself. Progress happens, yet it happens alongside connection. Many extroverts also enjoy hobbies that create frequent new encounters. Joining a running club means meeting new people every week. Volunteering means working shoulder to shoulder and talking while your hands are busy. That combination can feel effortless. The activity provides a reason to be together, which removes awkwardness. It is not that extroverts dislike mastery. They often become excellent at what they do. It is that the social layer is not a bonus. It is the point. When the hobby multiplies interaction, it multiplies energy too. Introverts may dislike open offices, where attention is always exposed. In an open office, your mind can feel like it is living on a stage. Even when nobody is staring, the possibility of being observed can keep your brain slightly braced. Footsteps pass behind you. Someone laughs near your desk. A chair scrapes. You hear your name and you wonder if it was said kindly. For many introverts, the hardest part is not noise alone. It is the constant chance of interruption and the feeling that your focus is public property. Deep work needs a long runway, yet open spaces shorten the runway again and again. This can lead to quiet coping strategies like arriving early, using headphones, or taking bathroom breaks that are really reset breaks. When privacy returns, even briefly, concentration often returns with it, like a tide coming back in. Extroverts may dislike remote work when days feel too quiet. Remote work can be efficient, yet for some people it feels like living in a muted world. Without hallway hellos and casual check-ins, the day can lose its rhythm. Extroverts often use small interactions as emotional markers. They help the brain feel oriented, motivated, and connected to a shared mission. When those moments vanish, work can start to feel like an endless solo task list. You might notice it as procrastination, snack wandering, or a sudden urge to schedule meetings that do not truly need to exist. It is not laziness. It is a missing source of stimulation and belonging. Many extroverts rebuild that missing layer on purpose. They work from cafes, join co-working spaces, or start the day with a brief call that sets a social tone. A little human contact can change the whole texture of a working day. Introverts can excel at one-to-one conversations, where signals are clearer. In a group, conversations can feel like weather. It changes quickly, and you have to shout to be heard. One-to-one is different. There is space for pauses, and there is less competition for the floor. Many introverts thrive there because the signals become simpler to read. You can track one face, one voice, and one emotional thread. That clarity frees attention for curiosity. Questions become more thoughtful. Stories become more detailed. It can also feel safer to admit uncertainty or share something personal. A surprising number of people reveal their real selves in these quieter formats, and introverts often become skilled at holding that space. They may remember what someone said months ago, then bring it back at the right moment. The other person feels seen, and the conversation deepens without effort. It can feel like turning a busy radio into a single clear station. Extroverts can excel at group dynamics, where energy circulates. A group is not only many individuals, it is a living system. Extroverts often sense that system quickly. They notice who is quiet, who is eager, and who looks left out. Then they do something small that changes the flow. They invite someone in. They connect two ideas, or they lighten tension with a well-timed laugh. This is a real skill. It is like conducting without a baton. In groups, energy bounces around, and extroverts often know how to keep the bounce from dying. They can also translate across personalities. They help shy people speak, and they help intense people soften. In the best cases, they make a group feel safe enough for everyone to contribute. That gift matters in families, classrooms, teams, and friend circles. When an extrovert is at their best, the room feels more connected than the sum of its parts. Introverts may interpret pauses as thinking space, not awkwardness. A pause can be a doorway, not a disaster. For many introverts, silence inside a conversation is where meaning settles. It gives the mind time to choose the honest answer instead of the fast answer. It also lets emotions catch up, which can prevent misunderstandings. In a world that rewards speed, this can be misunderstood. Someone may rush to fill the gap, and the introvert feels cut off before they finish forming the thought. When you learn to treat pauses as part of the conversation, the whole exchange becomes richer. The introvert often offers a more considered response, and the other person feels the difference. The pause can also communicate respect. It says, "What you said matters enough to sit with." If you want to connect with an introvert, try leaving one extra breath after you speak. That small space can unlock a surprising depth. Extroverts may interpret pauses as disconnection, not reflection. When a conversation goes still, some extroverts feel a flicker of alarm. They may wonder if they said something wrong or if the other person is pulling away. The mind starts scanning for signs of rejection, even when the truth is simple thinking. That interpretation makes sense if your social world has taught you that silence means trouble. Many extroverts respond by adding more words, changing topics, or performing reassurance. It is an attempt to rebuild the bridge in real time. The interesting part is what happens when they learn a new meaning for pauses. A pause can become proof of comfort, not distance. It can mean the other person trusts you enough not to entertain you constantly. Extroverts who practice sitting through silence often find that conversations deepen. They discover that connection does not always sound like laughter and chatter. Sometimes it sounds like two people breathing calmly in the same moment. Introverts can be skilled leaders, especially in calm crisis. In a crisis, noise multiplies. People talk at once, emotions spike, and certainty becomes rare. Many introverts lead well in these moments because they do not need to match the chaos. They can slow the tempo and choose what matters. While others rush to speak, they may listen for the true problem under the panic. Then they act with quiet clarity. This can show up in emergencies, and it can show up in ordinary workplace storms. A deadline collapses. A plan fails. A team starts blaming each other. The introverted leader often asks the stabilizing questions. What do we know? What do we not know? And what is the next smallest step? They tend to communicate in fewer words, yet with more precision. They also give others room to regain control of their emotions. Good crisis leadership is not always loud. Sometimes it is the person who stays steady while everyone else is spinning. Extroverts can be skilled leaders, especially in rallying teams. When morale drops, a team can feel like a car running out of fuel. Extroverts often shine here because they can create emotional momentum. They speak with energy that helps people believe effort will matter. They celebrate small wins. They turn isolation into teamwork, and they make individuals feel noticed. That social spark can transform performance. People work harder for leaders who make them feel part of something. Extroverted leaders often do this naturally. They are also quick to build relationships across departments, which can unlock resources and cooperation that others miss. In moments that require collective courage, their willingness to be visible becomes an advantage. They can step forward first, take the social risk, and model confidence for others. At their best, they do not only inspire. They create a culture where people feel safe to contribute ideas and admit problems early. That openness can prevent disasters before they form. Introverts often prepare before meetings to avoid thinking on display. Some people enjoy the mental sport of improvising in front of others. Many introverts prefer a different path. They like to arrive with their thoughts already arranged, so they can speak clearly without scrambling. Preparation is not insecurity. It is respect for accuracy. Before a meeting, an introvert might read the agenda, predict likely questions, and write down key points. This reduces the mental load of processing and performing at the same time. It also makes them harder to derail. When the conversation gets messy, they can return to their notes and bring focus back. Preparation can create surprise benefits for everyone. It produces cleaner decisions, fewer misunderstandings, and better follow-through. It also helps introverts speak up. When they know what they want to say, they are less likely to be drowned out by faster voices. If you have ever been in a meeting where one person calmly summarizes the real issue, you may have been hearing the power of preparation. Extroverts often improvise in meetings to build ideas together. For many extroverts, meetings are not where you present finished thoughts. Meetings are where thoughts are born. They might start with a rough idea, then use the room to shape it. Someone questions it. Someone expands it. Someone spots a flaw. The idea evolves in real time, and the extrovert feels energized by the shared construction. This can make them look confident, even when they are uncertain. Their confidence comes from trust in the process. They believe clarity will appear through interaction. Improvisation also helps them read group alignment quickly. They sense excitement or resistance and adjust fast. That adaptability can be a gift when problems are complex and time is limited. The risk is that speed can outrun reflection, so the best extroverts learn to invite quieter voices in. When they do, the meeting becomes both creative and balanced. The room turns into a thinking machine that uses many minds at once. Introverts may prefer early invitations, so they can plan energy. An early invitation is more than logistics. For many introverts, it is emotional preparation. Knowing what is coming allows them to budget energy like money. They can plan a calm day before a busy night. They can choose the right amount of social time, and they can arrange an exit that does not feel rude. Late invitations often feel like being pushed onto a moving train. Even if the event sounds fun, the suddenness can trigger stress. It forces fast decisions, and fast decisions can feel costly. Early notice also helps introverts show up as their best selves. They can choose an outfit, think of topics, and arrive with their mind already settled. This can change how they are perceived. With preparation, they may seem relaxed and engaged. Without it, they may seem distant. If you want an introvert to come, invite them early and make the plan clear. That simple respect can turn them maybe into a happy yes. Extroverts may prefer last-minute plans because spontaneity feels alive. For many extroverts, too much planning can drain the joy out of an idea. A last-minute plan feels like a spark that leaps into action. There is less time for doubt and more room for surprise. Spontaneity also carries a sense of shared adventure. You are choosing each other in the moment, and that choice feels exciting. Extroverts often enjoy the freedom of not knowing exactly how the night will go. They trust they can handle whatever happens, and they enjoy the social discovery along the way. This is why a quick message can work so well for them. Want to grab food in an hour can feel like an opening to life itself. It can also be a way to keep connection steady. If today is empty, fill it with people. The key is remembering that not everyone experiences spontaneity as fun. A great extrovert learns which friends thrive on surprise and which friends need a runway. Introverts can dislike phone calls because they remove visual cues. A phone call strips away half the information. You cannot see a smile that softens a blunt sentence. You cannot see a nod that says, "I am listening." For many introverts, those missing cues make the conversation feel harder to navigate. They may worry about interrupting, or they may not know when it is their turn. Phone calls also demand immediate response. There is no time to craft a thought the way you can in writing. That pressure can make even a friendly call feel like a test. Add to that the unpredictable timing of calls, and you get a perfect recipe for avoidance. Many introverts prefer messages or scheduled calls for this reason. When the call has a clear purpose and a predictable start time, it becomes easier. It stops feeling like an ambush. The fascinating part is that many introverts can talk for hours on the phone with the right person. The dislike is often about uncertainty, not about connection itself. Extroverts can love phone calls because they carry immediate warmth. A phone call can feel like a small portal to another person's presence. You hear tone, timing, and emotion in a way that text cannot deliver. Extroverts often love that immediacy. A simple hello can lift their mood, and a shared laugh can make distance feel smaller. Phone calls also allow quick repair. If something is misunderstood, you can correct it instantly. That speed protects relationships from the slow creep of misinterpretation. Many extroverts also enjoy the way a call fills empty space. Cooking dinner becomes social. A commute becomes shared. Even a boring chore can feel lighter with another voice alongside it. Calls can also satisfy the need for real-time connection when meeting in person is impossible. For extroverts, a call is not only information exchange, it is emotional contact. It says, "We are here together, right now." That can be deeply reassuring. Introverts often enjoy people in small doses, like strong tea. Some people love intensity, and they simply need it in a measured cup. Many introverts find that social time feels richest when it is brief and concentrated. A thoughtful dinner, a long walk, a focused visit. They can be fully present, then leave before their energy dips into strain. When the dose is right, they often feel warm and connected afterward, not depleted. This is why introverts may prefer leaving early rather than staying until they are exhausted. They want to preserve the good feeling. It is also why they might decline casual hangouts that could drag on without structure. They would rather choose a smaller plan with a clear endpoint. The benefit is that their attention can be vivid. They notice details, listen closely, and respond with care. A short time with an introvert can feel surprisingly intimate because they are not spreading themselves thin. It is concentrated connection, and it can be deeply satisfying. Extroverts often enjoy people in long doses, like sunlight. For many extroverts, being around people is not a treat. It is a climate. Long stretches of connection can feel natural and restoring. They might spend an entire day with friends and still feel energized at the end. The extended time allows layers of interaction. There is joking, then serious talk, then shared activity, then joking again. That variety keeps the social experience fresh. Long doses also create a sense of belonging that short bursts cannot always provide. Extroverts often feel happiest when life is threaded with people from morning to night. This does not mean they want constant deep discussion. They enjoy the background presence, the small comments, and the casual togetherness. That is why gatherings, shared trips, and busy households can feel like home to them. When extroverts get enough social sunlight, they often become calmer. They are less restless, more focused, and more emotionally steady. Connection does not distract them. It nourishes them over time. Introverts may notice internal states quickly, including stress and fatigue. Some people sense their inner world with surprising speed, a slight tension in the chest, a subtle shift in mood, a creeping mental tiredness, that arrives before it becomes obvious. Many introverts have this kind of internal awareness, and it can act like an early warning system. They may realize they are overstimulated before the room gets unbearable. They may notice irritability rising and choose to step away before they snap. This sensitivity can support good self-care, yet it can also create challenges. If you notice every wobble in your body, you might worry more. You might analyze normal fluctuations as signs of trouble. The skill is learning to read the signals without panicking. When used well, internal awareness helps introverts design better days. They take breaks before burnout hits. They choose calmer routes home. They plan recovery instead of crashing. It is like having a dashboard that updates quickly, and it can be a powerful advantage when you learn what the lights mean. Extroverts may notice external shifts quickly, including mood changes in others. Many extroverts are tuned outward like social antennae. They pick up changes in posture, tone, and group atmosphere with impressive speed. Someone who was laughing gets quieter. Two people who are engaged start drifting. The energy in the room drops by a small degree. Extroverts often notice this before anyone says a word. That outward sensitivity can make them strong connectors. They check in, they adjust the vibe, and they help people feel included. It can also make them vulnerable. If they track everyone's mood, they may feel responsible for fixing it. They might overextend, and they might forget to ask what they need. When this skill is balanced, it becomes a gift. Extroverts can create comfort in social spaces, and they can spot tension early. In families and friend groups, they are often the first to sense that something is off. They may not always know the cause, yet they feel the shift. That quick awareness can prevent small problems from growing into bigger ones. Introverts can be highly social, but need control of timing. Some introverts love people and can be the life of a gathering, yet only when they choose the moment. Control of timing is the hidden key. They might enjoy hosting because it lets them set the pace, choose the guest list, and decide when the night ends. They might thrive at a party when they arrive early, before the room is crowded. They might love group chats when they can dip in and out instead of replying instantly. Timing control also includes recovery windows. If they can protect the next morning, they can enjoy the night more. Without that control, even fun plans can feel threatening. The fascinating part is how social they can become when timing is right. They will tell stories, introduce people, and laugh easily. Then, when their internal meter hits its limit, they will want to stop. It is not inconsistency. It is an energy system that works best when the person holds the schedule. Extroverts can be thoughtful but prefer processing with others present. Thoughtfulness does not always look like silence and solitude. For many extroverts, deep reflection happens in company. They might call a friend to talk through a hard decision, not to be persuaded, but to hear their own mind more clearly. Another person's presence can act like a mirror. It reflects feelings back with a new angle. It also provides pacing. A question from the listener can reveal what matters most. Extroverts often reach clarity through dialogue, and that can produce surprisingly wise conclusions. They might explore multiple possibilities out loud, then suddenly land on the one that feels true. This can be powerful in relationships. Instead of withdrawing to think, they invite you into the thinking process. It can feel intimate. It says, "I trust you with my unfinished thoughts." The key is having listeners who do not interrupt with solutions too quickly. When the listener holds space, the extrovert's thinking becomes sharper and more grounded, and the connection deepens at the same time. Introverts often prefer quieter restaurants, where conversation stays effortless. A quieter room lowers the cost of connection. When plates clatter less and music sits in the background, An introvert can keep their voice soft and still be heard. That matters more than it seems. In loud places, you must monitor volume, read lips, and guess half the words. The brain works overtime, and the meal becomes a task. In a calmer restaurant, attention can stay on the person across the table. You notice the tiny shifts in expression, and you can respond without rushing. Even the pauses feel natural, since they are not swallowed by noise. This is why many introverts choose corners, booths, or off-peak hours. It is not about being fussy. It is about making the social part feel like a pleasure rather than a performance. When the setting is quieter, warmth shows up more easily. Extroverts often prefer lively places, where the room feels shared. In a lively room, extroverts often feel like they are part of the bigger heartbeat. The hum of other conversations can be comforting, since it signals that everyone is here together. Laughter from another table can lift your mood, even if you do not know the people. Background energy can also reduce pressure. If a pause happens at your table, it does not feel like a spotlight. The room carries the rhythm, and you can jump back in when you are ready. Many extroverts also enjoy the sense of possibility in lively spaces. You might overhear a great song, notice an interesting group, or strike up a quick chat with a stranger in line. These small moments can make a night feel alive. A lively place is not only a restaurant. It is a social stage with many scenes happening at once, and extroverts often love being inside that shared motion. Introverts may enjoy travel most with downtime built in. Travel can be thrilling, and it can also be a non-stop stream of new input. New streets, new accents, new rules, and a schedule full of decisions. Many introverts enjoy trips more when there is planned breathing room, a slow morning in the hotel, an afternoon with no agenda, a quiet cafe where you can watch life pass without needing to join it. Downtime also helps memory. When the day is not packed, experiences have time to settle, and the trip feels richer rather than blurry. This is why some introverts prefer fewer destinations and longer stays. They want to learn a place, not only collect it. With downtime built in, they can show up more fully for the fun parts. They might explore a museum with real attention, then return to their room content instead of drained. The trip becomes both discovery and restoration. Extroverts may enjoy travel most with constant shared activity. For many extroverts, travel is not only about place. It is about togetherness in motion. A full itinerary can feel energizing, since it keeps the group bonded through shared moments. Breakfast together, then a walk, then a market, then a show. The day becomes a chain of stories that you build side by side. Constant activity also reduces the risk of emptiness. There is less time for anyone to drift into boredom or homesickness, since the next experience is already arriving. Extroverts often love travel that includes social density, group tours, busy hostels, festivals, and guided adventures. Each one offers quick connection and a sense of momentum. They might even enjoy the small logistics, like planning routes or choosing restaurants, because it gives them a role in the group. At the end of the day, they are tired in a satisfying way, with memories tied to other people's laughter and reactions. Introverts can dislike being put on the spot, even with easy questions. Being put on the spot can trigger a strange double task. You must answer, and you must perform comfort while answering. Even a simple question can feel harder when everyone is watching. Many introverts need a moment to gather words, check tone, and decide what level of honesty fits the setting. When the question comes suddenly, that process gets squeezed into seconds. The result can be a blank mind, a rushed answer, or a joke used as cover. Then they may replay the moment later, thinking of the better response they did not have time to offer. This does not mean they lack confidence or knowledge. It often means their brain prefers a short runway. A little warning changes everything. When they can think first, they might give a clearer answer than anyone else. If you want an introvert's best ideas, ask the question and allow a pause without rescuing them. Extroverts can thrive when spotlighted because attention feels energizing. Some people step into attention and feel their battery rise. A room watching them can sharpen focus, raise enthusiasm, and bring out a strong sense of play. Extroverts often thrive in that moment because the spotlight creates immediate feedback. You see smiles, hear laughter, and feel the crowd react. That reaction becomes fuel. It can also create purpose. If you are the one telling the story or leading the game, you know exactly what you are doing there. This is why many extroverts enjoy hosting, performing, teaching, or emceeing. The role gives them a channel for their social energy. They might even feel calmer under the spotlight than they do in small, uncertain interactions, since the rules are clearer. At their best, spotlighted extroverts can lift everyone's mood. They turn attention into connection, and the group feels more alive because someone is willing to be seen first. Introverts often decompress by reading, making, or walking alone. After a busy day, some minds need a single thread to follow. Reading can provide that thread, since it turns attention into a quiet, steady line. Making things can do the same. Cooking, sketching, building, repairing, or tending plants. Your hands move, your mind settles, and the world becomes manageable again. A solitary walk offers another kind of reset. The body moves forward, and thoughts arrange themselves without interruption. Many introverts use these routines like a personal switch from social mode back to self mode. It is not avoidance of people. It is recovery of clarity. You often see it in small habits. A book opened after dinner, a craft project on the table, a walk taken at dusk. These practices help them return to others with more patience and warmth. Without them, the day can feel like it never truly ends. Extroverts often decompress by calling friends, meeting up, or hosting. For many extroverts, the fastest path out of stress is contact. A call can pull them out of looping thoughts, since another voice changes the mental landscape. Meeting up can do even more. Shared food, shared jokes, and shared movement often soften the edges of the day. Hosting can be especially soothing because it combines connection with control. You set the music, choose the snacks, and create the atmosphere you want to be inside. The interesting part is that these social resets are not always deep conversations. Sometimes it is the simple comfort of presence, like hearing someone in the room while you do ordinary tasks. Extroverts often feel better when life is relational. Even one short interaction can bring relief. When they do not get that, stress can linger longer. Connection, for them, is not a distraction from healing. It is part of the healing process itself. Introverts can prefer deep music because it mirrors inner rhythm. Some music feels like a conversation with your own mind. Slow builds, layered harmonies, and lyrics that suggest more than they state. Many introverts prefer this kind of sound because it matches the way they experience emotion. Not always loud, not always obvious, yet rich when you stay with it. Deep music can also create a private space in a public world. Headphones become a small boundary, and the inner world becomes more accessible. This is why certain introverts love albums that reward repeated listening. Each time, you notice a hidden line, a new instrument, or a change in tone that you missed before. It feels like discovering a secret room in a familiar house. Deep music is not always sad. It can be spacious, tender, or quietly joyful. What matters is that it invites attention rather than demanding it. When a song meets an introvert's inner rhythm, it can feel like being understood without needing to speak. Extroverts can prefer upbeat music because it amplifies shared mood. Upbeat music can turn a room into a single moving thing. The rhythm syncs bodies, lifts voices, and makes even strangers feel briefly connected. Extroverts often love that effect because it adds energy to social life. A good beat can make conversation easier, since smiles come faster and awkwardness fades. Upbeat music also supports action. It makes you want to dance, clean, drive, cook, or get ready to go out. It pulls the mind toward the outside world. Many extroverts use it like a mood tool. If they feel flat, they turn on something bright and the day shifts. In groups, upbeat songs become shared language. Everyone knows the chorus, and singing together creates instant belonging. This does not mean extroverts never love quiet songs. It means that music with lift often matches their natural direction, which is outward, social, and ready for movement. Introverts may be misread as cold when they are simply conserving. When an introvert is low on energy, their face may go neutral and their voice may get smaller. To someone who expects constant social signals, that can look like disapproval. In reality, it is often conservation. They are staying present by using fewer expressions, fewer words, and fewer gestures. It is like turning down lights to save power. Misreadings happen fast. A coworker assumes resentment. A friend assumes boredom. The introvert then feels pressure to prove warmth, which costs even more energy, and the cycle deepens. The most helpful shift is to look for consistency, not volume. Introverts often show care through reliability, attention to detail, and steady follow-through. They may not broadcast feelings, yet they often carry them strongly. When you stop demanding constant signals, you start seeing their affection in quieter forms. Their warmth is not absent. It is simply not always loud. Extroverts may be misread as shallow when they are simply connecting. Extroverts often lead with friendliness, and they can move quickly from one interaction to the next. From the outside, that can look like they are not going deep. Yet connection can be their form of depth. They build trust through frequent contact, shared experiences, and showing up again and again. Their conversations might start light because lightness is an invitation. It says, "You are safe with me." Over time, many extroverts reveal surprising emotional range. They just open the door differently. They may also share feelings in motion. While walking, driving, or laughing, someone who expects a serious tone might miss the seriousness that is woven into the banter. Another misunderstanding is that extroverts must be seeking attention. Often they are seeking relationship. They want the feeling of being in a human web. When you see that, their enthusiasm looks less like performance and more like generosity. They connect so others do not feel alone. Introverts can dislike networking because relationships feel non-transactional. Networking events can feel like a strange social game. You introduce yourself, exchange polite lines, and wonder what the other person wants from you. For many introverts, that transactional undertone feels uncomfortable. They prefer bonds that grow through shared context and real familiarity. Work together first, then trust forms naturally. Networking also demands quick self-presentation, and introverts often dislike compressing themselves into a short pitch. They want time to show who they are through actions, not slogans. Another challenge is the constant switching. One conversation ends, another begins, and the mind never settles. That can feel exhausting even when nothing bad happens. Many introverts build networks in quieter ways. They write thoughtful messages, follow up with genuine questions, and create a few strong professional relationships that last. Their style is slower, and it often becomes deeper. When they do connect, it tends to be based on real interest rather than social obligation. Extroverts can enjoy networking because strangers feel like possibilities. For an extrovert, a room full of strangers can feel like a room full of doors. Each person might carry a story, an opportunity, or an unexpected friendship. That sense of possibility can be energizing. Networking also offers clear purpose. You are there to meet people, so starting a conversation feels natural rather than intrusive. Extroverts often enjoy the small social puzzles, like finding common ground fast. They ask easy questions, share a quick story, and create comfort in minutes. They also tend to connect people to each other. If someone needs a job lead or a collaborator, the extrovert may remember who could help and make the introduction on the spot. This makes them valuable in professional communities. The best part is that networking does not have to stay superficial. Extroverts often use it as the first step. Then they deepen the connection through follow-up. A quick chat becomes coffee. Coffee becomes collaboration. For them, strangers are not threats. They are potential allies waiting to be discovered. Introverts may need silent mornings to start the mind gently. Morning can set the emotional temperature of an entire day. Many introverts prefer to begin with minimal input, since their mind is still waking up and arranging itself. Silence helps them notice what they feel, what they need, and what matters today. If the morning begins with questions, noise, or urgent messages, the mind can feel crowded before it is fully online. That crowding can lead to irritability that seems to come from nowhere. A quiet start can include simple rituals: tea, a shower, a journal, or a few minutes looking out of a window. The goal is not romance. It is regulation. When the day starts with a calm baseline, introverts often handle social demands more easily later. They can speak with more patience and listen with more attention. Silent mornings also create a sense of ownership. You begin as yourself, not as a responder to everyone else's needs. Extroverts may need busy mornings to start the day with spark. Some people wake up and feel ready only after the world begins moving around them. A busy morning can provide that ignition. Music on, messages answered, a quick conversation, or a fast start to errands. The motion signals we are alive, and the day is happening. Extroverts often find that activity pulls them into focus. It gives them direction and energy, and it reduces the chance of getting stuck in low mood. Social contact can be especially activating. A cheerful hello in the kitchen, a chat with a coworker, or a short call can make the day feel shared instead of solitary. Busy mornings also help extroverts feel connected to time. When you have plans early, the day has shape. Without that, the day can feel like a blank page that never quite begins. The key is choosing the right kind of busy. It should energize, not overwhelm. When it matches them, the day starts brighter. Introverts can feel happiest in flow states, where time disappears. Flow is the feeling of being so absorbed that the clock stops mattering. You are not thinking about yourself. You are inside the task. Many introverts chase this state because it is deeply restorative. It can happen while writing, drawing, coding, solving puzzles, playing an instrument, or learning a complex skill. The mind becomes quiet in a special way, not empty, but completely engaged. Flow also offers a kind of self-forgetting that reduces stress. You stop monitoring how you are coming across, and you stop scanning the environment for social signals. You are simply doing. This is why introverts often value uninterrupted time. They are not only being productive, they are touching a state that feels like emotional nourishment. When the task ends, they often emerge with a calm satisfaction that is hard to get from passive rest. Flow can make a day feel meaningful, even if nothing dramatic happened. It is a small pocket of timelessness inside ordinary life. Extroverts can feel happiest in social synchrony, where laughter aligns. There is a moment in a great group where everyone feels in tune. The timing is right, jokes land, and people build on each other's energy without trying. That is social synchrony, and extroverts often find it deeply satisfying. It is not only fun, it is regulation through belonging. When laughter aligns, bodies relax, and the world feels safer. You are part of a shared rhythm, and that rhythm can quiet anxiety. Extroverts often help create this state. They set up little sparks that others catch, and they keep the pace from stalling. Social synchrony can also happen in more serious ways. A team solving a problem in perfect cooperation. Friends cooking together without stepping on each other's toes. A choir singing as one voice. In those moments, the self feels larger. You are still you, yet you are also part of something joined. Extroverts often leave these experiences glowing. They feel recharged because the connection was not random. It was coordinated. Introverts may prefer thoughtful compliments, not frequent ones. A thoughtful compliment can feel like being truly seen. Many introverts prefer fewer compliments, and they prefer that the ones they receive are specific and sincere. Praise that feels automatic can make them uneasy, since it sounds like a social script rather than a real observation. They might wonder if the person is trying to manage impressions. A thoughtful compliment is different. It might name a concrete strength, like patience in a hard moment or creativity in a small detail. That specificity lands. It also respects privacy. Many introverts dislike being publicly praised, since attention can feel intense. They often prefer quiet appreciation, delivered one-to-one. This preference shapes how they give praise too. When an introvert compliments you, it is often carefully chosen and rooted in genuine respect. It is not about boosting the room's mood. It is about telling the truth. That kind of praise tends to stick. You remember it months later because it felt earned and accurate. Extroverts may prefer frequent affirmation because it builds momentum. Affirmation can act like fuel for an extrovert's drive. Frequent signals of appreciation help them know they are connected and valued, and that knowledge supports confidence. It is not always about needing praise. It can be about maintaining social alignment. A quick "that was great" or "I like your idea" keeps the emotional channel open. In teams, extroverts often use affirmation to lift others too. They compliment effort, celebrate progress, and turn small wins into shared victories. That creates momentum, and momentum makes people act. Extroverts also tend to enjoy visible feedback, like laughter at a joke or enthusiasm for a plan. Those responses tell them the group is with them. When affirmation is absent, they may doubt themselves sooner, even if their work is strong. This is why a simple check-in can matter. It keeps them moving forward with clarity and energy. Frequent affirmation is not shallow when it is sincere. It is a way of keeping connection active. Introverts can be strong performers once the script feels familiar. Stage fright often shrinks when the path is known. Many introverts perform brilliantly when they can rehearse, predict cues, and build muscle memory. A familiar script reduces the mental load of improvising in public, so attention can shift to craft. That is why some introverts love theatre, classical music, and prepared talks. They can practice until the performance feels like stepping into a well-lit room. Once they begin, something surprising can happen. Their focus becomes so complete that the audience fades into the background. They deliver lines with nuance, control pacing, and notice timing with precision. Afterward, they may need solitude to recover, yet the performance itself can feel empowering. It is a reminder that introversion is not a lack of presence. It is a preference for preparation. When the structure is steady, their talent can become unmistakable. Extroverts can be strong performers because the crowd feeds energy. Some people feel the room like electricity. A crowd's attention can sharpen their senses, lift their mood, and make their timing faster. Extroverts often thrive here because feedback arrives instantly. A laugh, a gasp, a ripple of applause. Each response guides the next moment, and the performer adjusts without thinking. That loop can be exhilarating, and it can make them bolder than they are in private. It also explains why some extroverts struggle in empty rehearsal rooms, then suddenly come alive on opening night. The audience provides a sense of shared purpose. You are not alone in your nerves. You are in a relationship with the room. Many extroverted performers also love the social layer around performance. Backstage chatter, post-show conversations, meeting people afterward. For them, performance is not only art. It is connection made visible. Introverts may avoid conflict because emotional noise feels heavy. Conflict is rarely only about the issue. It comes with tone shifts, raised voices, and unpredictable reactions. For many introverts, that emotional noise can feel overwhelming, even when they are right. They may avoid arguments to protect their nervous system from intensity. This can look like agreeing too quickly, changing the subject, or leaving the room. Inside, though, they are often thinking deeply about fairness and consequences. They might need time to sort what they feel before they can speak calmly. If they are pushed to respond fast, they may shut down or say less than they mean. The best way to hear an introvert in conflict is to lower the temperature. Speak slowly, be specific, and give space for pauses. Many introverts become surprisingly direct when the conversation feels safe. They do not avoid truth. They avoid chaos. Extroverts may address conflict quickly to restore connection fast. When connection matters, tension can feel urgent. Many extroverts want to resolve conflict quickly because the emotional distance is uncomfortable. They would rather talk now than carry uncertainty for days. This can be a strength, since problems often grow in silence. A quick conversation can clear misunderstandings before they harden into stories. Extroverts may also use warmth as a repair tool. They apologize, offer reassurance, and seek a friendly tone to bring the relationship back into alignment. The risk is moving too fast for the other person's processing speed. If the partner needs time, the extrovert might interpret the pause as rejection and push harder. When extroverts learn to combine speed with patience, they become excellent repairers. They can name the issue, confirm care, and set a plan. Then they can allow space without panic. Quick repair is powerful when it stays respectful. Introverts can process feelings privately, then share them clearly. Some emotions arrive like weather, and they need time to settle before you can describe them. Many introverts do their emotional work in private first. They reflect, journal, take a walk, or sit quietly until they understand what is true. This can make them seem unaffected in the moment, yet later they may speak with striking clarity. Their words often sound organized because they have already lived through the messy part internally. They might say, "I felt hurt when that happened," and they can explain why without blaming. That clarity can be a gift in relationships since it reduces confusion. It also means timing matters. Pressuring an introvert to talk before they are ready can produce silence or a rushed answer that does not fit. When you give them room, they often return with a thoughtful description of what they need. Their emotions are not distant. They are simply processed off stage. Extroverts can process feelings aloud, then understand them better. For many extroverts, talking is how emotion becomes legible. They may start speaking with only a vague sense of discomfort, then discover the real feeling mid-sentence. The listener becomes a sounding board that helps the emotion take shape. This can look like changing their mind while talking, yet it is often the mind getting clearer. They might begin angry, then realize they are actually disappointed. They might begin anxious, then realize they feel alone. Processing aloud can also reduce intensity, since naming feelings can make them feel more manageable. The challenge is finding a listener who does not interrupt with fixes too quickly. Extroverts often need space to explore before they choose a solution. When that space exists, the payoff is real. They reach insight faster, and they feel closer to the person who listened. For them, understanding is often a shared activity, not a solitary one. Introverts may prefer texting because it allows measured timing. Texting gives you something conversation often does not: time. You can read a message, notice your reaction, and then respond with care instead of speed. Many introverts value that measured timing because it protects both accuracy and calm. It reduces the fear of being interrupted, and it allows them to choose words that match what they truly mean. Texting also creates a softer boundary. You can pause the exchange without the pressure of live silence. That can make connection feel easier to maintain over busy days. It is not always about avoiding people. It is about avoiding rushed performance. Many introverts also like that texting preserves a record. If plans change, details are written down. If someone shares something important, the words remain. Of course, texting can also create misunderstandings, since tone is harder to read. Introverts often compensate by being clearer, using full sentences, and asking careful questions. Extroverts may prefer voice notes because tone carries feeling. Voice notes sit between texting and calling, and extroverts often love that middle ground. You can hear warmth, humor, and emotion in a way that plain text cannot deliver. Tone carries reassurance, and it can prevent the coldness that sometimes sneaks into written words. Voice notes also feel more personal than typing, since you are sharing your real voice and your natural rhythm. For extroverts, that can feel like true contact, even when schedules do not match. There is also freedom in it. You can tell a story with pauses, laughter, and emphasis, and you do not need perfect timing like a live call. Many extroverts use voice notes to keep relationships alive across distance. A 1-minute message can feel like sitting beside someone for a moment. The main risk is sending too much too fast, since enthusiasm can spill over. When balanced, voice notes become a small bridge that carries real presence. Introverts can be highly funny, especially with trusted people. Some humor needs safety to bloom. Many introverts are quietly hilarious, yet they do not spend jokes on rooms that feel uncertain. With trusted people, their comedy can become sharp, surprising, and perfectly timed. They often notice small absurdities that others miss, and they deliver them with a calm face that makes the punchline land harder. Their humor can also be more layered. Wordplay, callbacks, subtle impressions, and observations that reward attention. In groups, They may hold back because fast banter moves too quickly. In a safe one-to-one, they can let the joke breathe. When an introvert starts teasing you, it often signals comfort. They are showing you a playful side that they protect. This can change how people see them. Someone who seemed serious can suddenly become the funniest person in the room, but only when the room feels like home. Extroverts can be highly funny, especially when the room is warm. Extroverted humor often thrives on audience energy. When the room feels friendly, they can riff, build on others' jokes, and create a shared rhythm of laughter. Their comedy is frequently interactive. A raised eyebrow, a quick response, a playful exaggeration that invites others to join in. They may also use humor as social glue. A tense moment appears, and a well-placed joke helps everyone breathe again. In warm rooms, extroverts can take risks because the group feels forgiving. If a joke misses, they recover quickly and keep the mood light. Many extroverts also enjoy being the spark that starts laughter, then stepping back as others carry it. Their humor is often generous in that way. It makes people feel included. It says, "We are together." When that warmth is present, they become funnier because the room is not judging. The room is playing. Introverts often choose quality sleep routines because recovery matters more. Sleep can feel like a reset button for an introverted nervous system. When stimulation has been high, the next day often depends on whether the night was restorative. Many introverts notice this link strongly, so they protect sleep with routines that reduce friction. They might keep evenings predictable, dim screens earlier, or avoid late plans that would steal recovery time. The motivation is practical. Good sleep makes social life easier, focus steadier, and mood less reactive. It also helps them handle unexpected demands without feeling overwhelmed. Over time, many introverts learn that skipping rest has a cost that lingers. They may still enjoy busy seasons, yet they plan around them like an athlete plans around training. This is not fragility. It is awareness of their own system. When they sleep well, they often become more outgoing and more patient. Recovery is not only rest. It is fuel for presence. Extroverts often sacrifice sleep for connection, especially in social seasons. A late night can feel worth it when the room is alive. Extroverts often stay up past their ideal bedtime because connection feels rare and precious. They do not want to miss the story, the laughter, the shared moment that will be remembered later. In social seasons, like holidays or big trips, the pull can be even stronger. Sleep becomes negotiable, and experience becomes the priority. The downside shows up later. A few short nights can make mood swingy and attention scattered. Yet many extroverts repeat the pattern because the social reward feels immediate. They often learn balance through experience. They might schedule recovery mornings, limit late nights to certain days, or create rituals that keep connection without stealing all the sleep. A short breakfast together can replace a midnight hangout. The key is recognizing that connection is nourishing, and so is rest. Extroverts do best when they stop treating sleep like the only flexible piece of the puzzle. Introverts may prefer fewer notifications because interruptions fragment attention. A notification is not only a sound, it is a mental tug that pulls you out of what you were building. Many introverts find that frequent pings shatter focus, and focus is where they feel most competent. Even if they do not respond, part of the brain shifts toward the possibility of response. That tiny shift repeats until the day feels chopped into scraps. This is why many introverts curate their digital world. They silence group chats, turn off badges, and choose set times to check messages. The goal is not ignoring people. It is protecting continuity of thought. When continuity is protected, creativity and problem-solving often improve. It also reduces a specific kind of stress, the feeling of being perpetually on call. Fewer notifications can make the day feel owned again. And when they do respond, they respond with more care. Their attention becomes a gift rather than a reflex. Extroverts may prefer more notifications because they signal belonging. A phone buzzing can feel like a social heartbeat. For many extroverts, notifications are not only demands, they are evidence that connection is alive. A new message can lift mood, and a stream of small interactions can make the day feel shared. Extroverts often enjoy the ongoing sense of being in a network. It can reduce loneliness, and it can create a pleasant rhythm of check-ins. Notifications also offer opportunities to respond quickly, which helps them feel engaged and useful. A friend needs a quick answer, and they can provide it. A plan forms in a group chat, and they can jump in early. The risk is overload, since too many pings can turn into scattered attention. Many extroverts eventually learn to choose the right channels. They keep the signals that matter, and they mute the ones that create noise. They do not want endless interruption. They want the feeling of a living social thread. Introverts often enjoy learning alone, then sharing conclusions later. Learning alone can feel like entering a private laboratory. You can pause, rewind, reread, and follow curiosity without needing to keep pace with anyone else. Many introverts love that freedom. They can go deep into a topic, make connections quietly, and form an opinion that feels truly their own. Then, later, they share what they found. This timing matters. They do not want to speak while they are still gathering pieces. They want to bring a finished map. That is why an introvert might seem quiet in a class discussion, then send a thoughtful message afterward that ties everything together. Their sharing often comes with structure. A clear summary, a key insight, and a few carefully chosen examples. This can make them excellent teachers in certain contexts, since they are not thinking while talking. They are offering what they already built. The result can feel surprisingly powerful, like receiving a well-wrapped gift of understanding. Extroverts often enjoy learning in groups, then debating instantly. Group learning can feel like a live sport for many extroverts. Ideas arrive, collide, and evolve through discussion. They enjoy the energy of hearing different perspectives in real time, and they often understand better when they can ask questions immediately. Debate is not always aggression. For many extroverts, it is exploration. They test an idea by pushing on it, and they invite others to push back. That back and forth can reveal weak spots quickly, and it can generate new angles that nobody would have reached alone. Group learning also creates accountability. When others are watching, you show up prepared. When others are excited, your curiosity grows. Many extroverts remember material better when it is attached to a social moment, like a lively argument or a shared laugh about a confusing concept. The risk is talking over quieter thinkers, so skilled extroverts learn to make space. When they do, the group becomes a thinking engine that benefits everyone. Introverts may like museums, where curiosity can be quiet. A museum offers a rare social freedom. You can be around people without needing to talk. You can walk at your own pace, linger as long as you want, and let your mind wander without being judged. Many introverts love this because it turns curiosity into a private experience, even in a public place. A painting can hold your attention for 10 minutes, and nobody demands that you explain why. A fossil can spark questions, and you can follow them inward. Museums also create natural conversation that is optional. You can point at something and share one sentence, then return to silence without awkwardness. This makes museums ideal for introvert-friendly companionship. You are together, yet you are not performing together. Over time, museum visits can become a kind of personal ritual. They combine stimulation with control. You choose what to look at, how long to stay, and when to rest. That balance can make wonder feel sustainable. Extroverts may like festivals, where curiosity can be shared. A festival is curiosity with volume. Music, food, art, and motion all at once, with thousands of people having parallel experiences. Extroverts often love this because discovery becomes social. You try something new, then immediately share the reaction. You hear a band, and a crowd's energy amplifies the sound. You taste something unfamiliar, and you laugh with friends about how surprising it is. Festivals also offer constant micro-adventures. A new stage, a new stall, a new conversation with someone who is excited for the same reason you are. That shared excitement can feel like instant community. Even waiting in line becomes part of the event, since people chat, swap recommendations, and build a temporary world together. Many extroverts leave festivals feeling filled up, not because every moment was perfect, but because every moment was connected. Their curiosity does not stay in their head. It becomes a story told out loud. Introverts can love romance deeply, but need space to stay steady. Romance can be intense, and intensity can be exhausting. Many introverts love with depth, attention, and loyalty, yet they also need space to keep their inner world balanced. Without that space, they can feel emotionally flooded, even by someone they adore. Time alone helps them return to themselves. It lets them reflect on feelings, lower stimulation, and come back with more warmth instead of less. This need can be misunderstood, especially early in a relationship. A partner may assume distance means declining interest. In reality, it can be a sign of taking the bond seriously, since the introvert is protecting long-term steadiness. Many introverts show love through reliability and careful noticing. They remember what matters to you, and they make room for it. When their need for space is respected, their affection often becomes more consistent. Their love is not a constant performance. It is a steady presence built to last. Extroverts can love romance openly and show it through presence. For many extroverts, love feels natural when it is visible. They show it through time, touch, shared plans, and frequent contact. Presence is their language. They want to be near you, and they want you to be part of their daily stream. That can feel thrilling, since the relationship becomes woven into ordinary life. Extroverts often express affection quickly, not because it is shallow, but because expression itself feels honest. They may introduce you to friends early, invite you to events, and speak warmly about you in public. This openness can create security, since you do not have to guess what they feel. The challenge is pacing, especially with a partner who needs more space. Skilled extroverts learn that constant proximity is not the only proof of love. They can keep their openness, and they can also allow breathing room. When balanced, their romance feels like sunlight. It is warm, obvious, and hard to miss. Introverts often prefer pets for calm companionship without constant talk. A pet can offer presence without performance. Many introverts find that deeply soothing because affection arrives without a demand to speak, smile on cue, or keep a conversation moving. A cat settling nearby can feel like permission to stay still. A dog's steady attention can feel like being accepted exactly as you are. Pets also create predictable rituals that ground the day. Feeding, walking, brushing, and the familiar sound of paws across a floor. There is a quiet kind of communication too. You learn the meaning of a tail flick, a head tilt, or a paw placed on your knee. In stressful moments, that wordless bond can steady the nervous system faster than advice. Pets can also make social life easier in small ways. They offer a simple topic, and they bring warmth into a home. For many introverts, companionship feels best when it does not compete with silence. Extroverts often prefer gatherings at home because hosting feels natural. Hosting can feel like turning connection into something you can shape. Many extroverts love that power. You choose the music, set out food, and guide the mood without needing to dominate it. Home gatherings also create a steady flow of interaction. People arrive in waves, conversations overlap, and no single moment carries too much pressure. If one chat stalls, you can drift to another. Hosting can also be a form of care. You notice who needs an introduction, who is sitting alone, and who wants a quieter corner. That social orchestration can feel satisfying, like making a room work for everyone. Home also lowers barriers. It is easier to invite people for an hour, and it is easier to extend the night if the energy is good. Many extroverts find that hosting strengthens their relationships quickly. Shared memories form in familiar rooms, and the home becomes a hub where people feel welcomed back. Introverts can be sensation sensitive, noticing lights, sounds, and textures more. Some people walk into a room and instantly register the fluorescent buzz, the scratchy tag in a shirt, and the perfume that lingers in the air. For many introverts, that heightened noticing is part of daily life. It can make the world feel vivid, and it can also make it tiring. Bright lights can drain energy faster. Crowded soundscapes can blur speech into noise. Even a rough chair fabric can become an ongoing irritation that pulls attention away from a conversation. This sensitivity can shape preferences in surprising ways. Softer lighting at home, familiar clothing, calm spaces for social time. It can also create strengths. These introverts often notice subtle changes others miss, like a shift in temperature or a new tension in a room. The key is not to treat sensitivity as weakness. It is a different way of receiving the world, and it asks for thoughtful design. Extroverts can seek stimulation, enjoying louder, brighter environments. For many extroverts, stimulation is not a threat. It is a spark. A bright room, lively music, and many faces can make their mind feel awake and ready. They often enjoy environments where something is always happening, because it keeps attention engaged without effort. Noise becomes atmosphere rather than distraction. Movement becomes energizing rather than overwhelming. This can be why extroverts gravitate toward busy cafes, social gyms, sports arenas, and lively city streets. They like the sense that life is unfolding around them in real time. Stimulation also provides easy conversation. A song playing, an event happening, a crowd reacting. The environment feeds the social moment, so nobody has to invent energy from scratch. Extroverts can also use stimulation strategically. When they feel low, they step into a brighter world and let the environment lift them. Their nervous system often calms through action and input, not through reduction. Introverts may prefer long-form media, where ideas unfold slowly. Long-form media can feel like a safe hallway into complexity. A book, a documentary series, or a thoughtful podcast gives an idea enough time to breathe. Many introverts love that pace because it matches how they enjoy understanding. They like context, nuance, and the feeling of building a mental map, layer by layer. With long-form stories, you can pause, reflect, and return without losing the thread. That control matters. It keeps curiosity from becoming rushed. Long-form media also creates a private relationship with the content. You do not need to react instantly, and you do not need to explain yourself while you are still forming an opinion. Over time, this preference can shape identity. Introverts often become people who know a topic deeply because they have followed it for hours rather than minutes. They may not share every thought right away, yet when they do speak, their perspective can feel richer. Slow unfolding can be a kind of pleasure, like watching a photograph develop. Extroverts may prefer short-form media, where novelty arrives quickly. Short-form media delivers quick changes, and many extroverts find that refreshing. A brief clip, a fast story, or a short article offers a burst of novelty that keeps attention lively. This style can fit the way extroverts often move through the day. They enjoy switching contexts, sampling ideas, and sharing reactions instantly. Short-form content is also social. It is easy to send to friends, laugh about, and discuss in a group chat without needing a long setup. The speed of it can feel like an ongoing conversation with the world. There is also a practical advantage. When you have limited time, short-form media offers stimulation without requiring a big commitment. Extroverts often like that flexibility. They can get a spark during a commute, while waiting in line, or between tasks. The challenge is depth. So many extroverts balance it with longer content when they want to settle into a topic. Still, the quick arrival of something new can feel like a small daily lift. Introverts can be excellent mentors because they observe before advising. Great mentoring often begins with watching, not talking. Many introverts naturally do that. They pay attention to how someone approaches a problem, where confidence drops, and what patterns repeat. Instead of offering a quick fix, they often ask a question that reveals what the person already knows. That approach can feel empowering, since it helps the learner own the solution. Introverted mentors also tend to remember details. They notice what someone said last week, and they connect it to today's challenge. That continuity makes mentees feel genuinely supported. Their feedback is often calm and specific, and it arrives without showmanship. That can be especially helpful for people who feel anxious or easily overwhelmed. There is also a quiet honesty in their style. They do not push advice to feel important. They speak when it will help. Over time, their mentorship can create real growth because it is rooted in careful attention rather than quick performance. Extroverts can be excellent mentors because they encourage through energy. Some people grow fastest when they feel believed in. Extroverted mentors often excel at creating that feeling. They celebrate small wins, speak optimism out loud, and make progress feel exciting instead of intimidating. Their energy can lower fear because the learner senses that mistakes are part of the process, not a disaster. Extroverted mentors also tend to be accessible. They check in often, invite questions, and keep the relationship active through frequent contact. That can help a mentee stay engaged, especially during slow or frustrating phases of learning. Many extroverted mentors are also good at opening doors. They introduce mentees to networks, opportunities, and real-world experiences that accelerate growth. Their mentorship can feel like being pulled into motion. When paired with good listening, it becomes powerful. The learner not only gets advice, they get momentum. They start to act with more courage because someone else's confidence has become contagious. Introverts often need a clear exit plan to feel relaxed. A clear exit plan can transform an event from stressful to enjoyable. Many introverts relax more when they know how and when they can leave. It removes a hidden worry that sits in the background, which is the fear of being trapped in stimulation. With an exit plan, the mind stops scanning for escape routes and starts engaging with the moment. This can be simple. Driving your own car, agreeing on a time limit, having a phrase you can use without guilt, like, "I'm heading out early tonight." It can also include recovery planning. Knowing you have a calm evening afterward makes it easier to show up fully. Without an exit plan, introverts may hold back, because part of them is bracing for the fatigue they cannot control. The surprising thing is that a clear exit often leads to longer stays. When leaving is possible, staying becomes a choice rather than an endurance test. Extroverts often need an open-ended plan to feel free. An open-ended plan can feel like breathing room. Many extroverts dislike schedules that clamp down on possibility because they want the night to have space to evolve. If the energy is good, why cut it short? If new friends appear, why not follow the moment? Open-ended plans also reduce pressure. When there is no fixed endpoint, the gathering can flow naturally, and nobody has to watch the clock. Extroverts often feel most alive when they can say yes to what emerges. A spontaneous dessert stop, a longer walk, a new place someone suggests. That flexibility can be the whole point. It is not always impulsiveness. It is a desire for freedom within connection. The challenge comes when others need structure, so skilled extroverts learn to build flexible plans with soft boundaries. They might keep the first part fixed and let the rest be optional. That way, they keep their sense of freedom without leaving others unsettled. Introverts may appear calm while feeling intense, because expression is internal. An introvert can look composed while their mind is racing. Their face may stay neutral, and their voice may remain steady, yet inside they are processing layers of thought and emotion. This can lead to misunderstandings. Others assume nothing is happening, and they push for faster decisions or more reaction. The introvert then feels even more pressure, which increases the internal intensity. Many introverts have learned to keep expression contained, either through habit or through social experience. They may also need time to translate feeling into words, so the outside stays calm while the inside shifts. This can be a strength. It can help them stay steady in tense moments, and it can prevent impulsive reactions. It can also be lonely, since people may not notice their effort. If you want to understand an introvert better, watch for small signals. A brief pause, a tightened jaw, a change in posture. Those can be the visible edge of a very active inner world. Extroverts may appear intense while feeling calm, because expression is external. An extrovert can speak with excitement, move quickly, and use big gestures while feeling perfectly centered inside. Their expressiveness is not always a sign of agitation. It can simply be their natural volume of engagement. This can confuse people who equate intensity with stress. The extrovert may be calm, yet others start trying to soothe them. That mismatch can feel strange. External expression can also be a way of keeping energy circulating, like shaking out a blanket. It helps them stay comfortable and connected. In conversation, they might emphasize points with tone and movement, not because the topic is dramatic, but because they want the listener to feel included. Their face may show every thought as it passes, which looks intense compared to someone more contained. When you understand that difference, you stop taking their expressiveness as a warning sign. You start seeing it as a style. Many extroverts can handle pressure well, and their animated delivery can be a sign of confidence rather than instability. Introverts can thrive socially by choosing depth, not frequency. Social thriving does not always mean seeing people constantly. For many introverts, it means choosing the right kind of contact. Depth creates satisfaction because it brings real understanding and emotional closeness. An introvert might prefer one meaningful dinner each week over many casual hangouts that never get past the surface. This choice can protect energy and increase connection at the same time. It also shapes social boundaries. They may say no more often, yet their yes carries more presence. When they do show up, they listen closely, ask better questions, and share more honestly. Depth can also reduce the fear of being misunderstood, since close relationships allow nuance. Over time, this approach often builds a smaller circle with stronger bonds. The introvert feels socially supported without feeling socially flooded. Their relationships become fewer, yet more nourishing. It is a reminder that social health is not measured by volume. It is measured by whether you feel known. Extroverts can thrive quietly by choosing purpose, not constant noise. Even extroverts can burn out when stimulation becomes chaotic. Thriving does not require constant noise. Many extroverts do best when their social life has purpose. A team project, a volunteer shift, a weekly sports group, or hosting friends with a shared activity. Purpose gives structure, and structure turns stimulation into something satisfying rather than scattered. It also helps extroverts enjoy quieter moments without feeling trapped. If there is a meaningful goal, a calm conversation can feel rich instead of dull. Purpose can also guide boundaries. Instead of saying yes to every invitation, they choose the ones that align with their values, and they feel better afterward. This is how some extroverts become surprisingly disciplined. They still love connection, yet they stop chasing every spark. They choose the sparks that light something real. When extroverts learn this, they become steadier. Their energy stops swinging, and their relationships feel more intentional. Introverts can grow by practicing boldness in small, safe steps. Boldness does not have to arrive as a personality makeover. For many introverts, growth happens through tiny experiments. Speak once in a meeting, then rest. Start one conversation at a party, then step outside. Ask one question that matters, even if your voice shakes a little. These small steps train the nervous system without overwhelming it. Each success becomes evidence. You learn that discomfort is not danger, and you learn that you can recover. Safe steps also allow strategy. You choose settings where you feel supported, like a trusted friend beside you, or a familiar environment. Growth then becomes repeatable. Over time, the introvert often finds that boldness feels less like acting and more like expanding. They do not become someone else. They become more of themselves in more places. This kind of growth can be powerful because it is sustainable. It respects energy, and it builds confidence through real experience rather than forced exposure. Extroverts can grow by practicing stillness without losing themselves. Stillness can feel like deprivation to an extrovert at first, yet practicing it can unlock a different kind of strength. When extroverts learn to sit with their own thoughts, they gain clarity that does not depend on external input. This can improve decision-making, reduce impulsive commitments, and deepen emotional understanding. Stillness does not mean isolation forever. It can be short and intentional. A walk without a phone. 10 minutes of breathing before a busy night. A quiet morning once a week. These pauses teach the nervous system that calm is safe. They also reveal which social plans are truly nourishing and which ones are driven by restlessness. Extroverts who practice stillness often become more grounded in relationships. They listen longer, interrupt less, and respond with more thought. They do not lose their brightness. They gain control of it. Their energy becomes something they can direct, not something that drags them along. The best teams mix both styles, balancing reflection with action. A team made only of fast talkers can rush into mistakes. A team made only of quiet planners can stall. When introverted and extroverted styles mix well, the group gains a fuller brain. The extroverted side often energizes, connects, and moves ideas into the world. The introverted side often refines, notices risks, and strengthens decisions before they ship. The balance can be felt in meetings. Someone sparks a direction, and someone else sharpens it. Someone rallies people through change, and someone else keeps the plan steady when emotions rise. Mixed teams also handle conflict better. One style may name issues quickly, and the other style may cool the temperature so solutions become possible. The key is respect. If the loudest voice wins, you lose the quiet intelligence. If caution blocks every idea, you lose momentum. Teams thrive when they design space for both, like sending agendas early and also leaving time for live brainstorming. When both styles are valued, the team becomes more resilient and more creative. Culture shapes which trait is praised, even when both are needed. Personality does not live in a vacuum. Culture tells you what is admirable, and it rewards certain behaviors. In some settings, speaking up quickly is treated like competence, and quiet reflection is overlooked. In other settings, restraint and modesty are praised, and outspoken warmth is seen as disruptive. These cultural signals shape how people present themselves. An introvert may force constant visibility to seem professional. An extrovert may suppress expressiveness to seem serious. Over time, that pressure can distort self-understanding. People start thinking something is wrong with them, when the real issue is mismatch between style and expectation. Culture also influences parenting and schooling. Children learn early which traits get approval. The fascinating part is that cultures often need both traits at once. You need bold voices to rally change. You also need careful minds to prevent harm. When a culture praises only one style, it loses part of its intelligence. The healthiest environments make room for many ways of being, and they treat different styles as tools rather than rankings. Personality is not destiny. It is a pattern that can bend. Your tendencies are real, yet they are not a prison. Many people find that their personality shifts across roles and seasons, not because they become fake, but because the pattern adapts. An introvert may become more outgoing when their work requires it, and they may discover they enjoy certain kinds of leadership. An extrovert may become more reflective after a life change, and they may learn to value solitude in a new way. The pattern bends through skills, habits, and confidence. Exposure can make once stressful settings feel familiar. Practice can turn awkwardness into ease. At the same time, the pattern often keeps a core preference. The introvert still restores through quiet. The extrovert still restores through connection. Growth does not erase that. It expands choices. You become able to act outside your default when it serves you, and you become able to return to your default without shame. When you see personality as a flexible pattern, you stop treating labels as verdicts. You start treating them as useful information. Understanding both styles can turn frustration into real daily compassion. So many conflicts are not about selfishness. They are about mismatched energy systems. One person wants to talk right now. Another person needs time to think. One person feels loved through presence. Another person feels loved through space. Without understanding, these differences can look like rejection. With understanding, they become solvable. You can ask what helps you recharge, and you can take the answer seriously. You can plan together, rather than guessing. You can stop moralizing behavior that is really biology and habit. Compassion also changes how you talk to yourself. If you are introverted, you stop calling your needs weakness. If you are extroverted, you stop calling your needs needy. You start seeing both as valid. This understanding improves friendships, families, workplaces, and romance. It reduces the urge to force people into one correct way of being. It replaces frustration with curiosity. And curiosity is powerful because it invites better questions and better care. As we come to the end of our journey through introverts and extroverts, notice what it feels like to hold both worlds with a little more understanding. We explored how some people refuel through solitude and how others refuel through connection. We wandered through crowded rooms and quiet corners, through meetings and friendships, through travel days and late-night conversations. We saw how the same human needs can wear different outfits. One person seeks depth and fewer bonds that feel sturdy. Another person seeks a wider circle and the bright comfort of many small hellos. We met the ways our minds handle stimulation, how our bodies react to noise and attention, and why timing can matter as much as love. If anything tonight surprised you, let it be this. These differences are not flaws to fix. They are patterns to recognize, so life can fit better. When you understand the pattern, you can design kinder days. You can give yourself the right kind of rest. You can give others the right kind of space. If you enjoyed this winding exploration, you might like, subscribe, or leave a comment with what you recognized in yourself. And if you are still awake, there is another video waiting on your screen now, ready to carry you onward. But for now, you do not need to analyze another thing. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders loosen. Feel the weight of your body settling into the surface beneath you. Allow your breathing to slow, one steady breath at a time. The day can fade into the background, and your mind can drift without effort. Sleep well, and good night.